Welcome to Lake Locos. I will take you to railway layout exhibitions on train days out and also show you my progress on my indoor and outdoor projects. Today I'm with Tony Hill by his World War I layout, Gaddhill. Here's a clip. I'll show you more after the interview. So I'm here with Tony Hill with his layout Gaddhill, and I've got some questions for Tony, who's kindly agreed to have a little bit of an interview with me. So
Actually, it was an arm up the back job.
Yeah, well, it might have been, mightn't it? But you're so good at being on interview, Tony, so I thought it'd be an interesting chat. How did the idea for this particular model layout come about, this railway come about?
Well, I have to say, originally there might have been a bit of wine involved. My wife and I, Sue and I, were staying at the Gadd's establishment, and over a glass of wine, we were talking about printed track work, which is what we have here. This is printed track work. And I said to Andrew, could we possibly get a layout on the dining room table?
That was a challenge.
We laid it all out, and I said, I think we've got a layout coming here, a micro layout. I've never built a micro layout, so it was a challenge in that respect. So Andrew then very kindly printed me some track. I took it home with me. And while I was driving home, I was formulating a plan, as you do. And this is what transpired from that plan. I had an interest in World War I, but not a big interest. So it has developed from a minor interest to a big interest.
I was going to ask you why World War I.
Well, I was interested in narrow gauge, and having bought the WWI book by Roy Link, I seen it actually at Andrews, and Jackie had the book, and I had a look at it. I thought, okay, this is where this formulated. And World War One, I looked into it more, and I thought, narrow gauge, this will work for me because I love narrow gauge. I always come to Wales at least once a year, and I ride the rails, which Sue and I love doing. So we're members of the Barlow Lake Railway, Tullatin Railway. We go on the Pestiniog, we go on the Washball and Flambar, and we go on the one out of Aberystwyth, the can't remember the name of it now. How silly of me! Moments of age here. So the narrow gauge has always been in my blood. I had originally way back a 009 layout, and I was involved with the Folkestone Model Railway Club, and we had a layout called Beth Gaddhill, which was exhibited all over the country, along with Dick Wyatt's Abu Dhabi layout. So there's the narrow gauge interest, and it's continued. Although I've used standard gauge in the garden before, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give that all up and go 16mm in the garden, and now
indoors as well.
Indoors as well, because I have it on YouTube as a layout I've been building called Gilfachwen, which is opposite to Gilfachli, which is a dark place. This is a light place.
Nice.
And it's a Welsh lake quarry. And if you look on YouTube, you'll see it.
I will have a look at that later. So Gaddhill, then, I'm guessing, is because of the glass of wine from Andrew, between Andrew and yourself.
Glass of wine.
Not a glass of wine, okay.
No, it was Andrew Gadd, of course, of Boot Lane Works.
Boot Lane Works, absolutely.
And myself. I put the two together, and Andrew was quite impressed.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
It's actually standing in the wings there, watching me.
I know. I'm going to get him later. I can't believe it's taken me to driving here today to realise why it's called Gaddhill, because that's going to be one of my questions to you. So, how long did this build take you, Tony?
Initially, over winter, 6 months maybe.
Oh wow, that's pretty quick.
Well, yeah, but I was I can't even speak now. Experimenting while I was building it. So I had the basis of the layout is expanded polyurethane foam. I was explaining to a gentleman earlier that it was the foam board that was used, sadly, on the Grenfell Towers. That's 3 inches thick, or 70 millimeters thick. It's lightweight, and I've encased it with very thin 3mm ply, sandwich, basically little blocks of wood in between two skins, and that is then sandwiched or pushed against and stuck with solvent-free grip fill.
So it makes it relatively light for transport.
Very light, very light.
That's impressive, because I was wondering that, because it's, it's not huge, but it's not small either, is it? So.
I mean, it's 2 sections, so
Okay.
you've got a section there.
That's almost invisible. And I am going to show them in detail a bit later. Yeah, okay, so that's 2 parts. So then you must have to put the backboard in.
Back seam, yes, it's all clipped together. I painted the back seam.
Yeah.
That's all painted. Same with the 2 end boards.
Yeah.
They're curved, so I could get a bit more of a panoramic view, if you like.
Brilliant. Did you plan everything in advance then, or was it? I mean, I know you had these plans in the car driving home, but did you plan everything out, or was it organic?
I'm very lucky in the fact that, in the sense that I can paint and draw, and I can see, and used to do this in my working life as a carpenter and joiner. If I was asked to do a kitchen, the lady of the house was always the lady of the house. Wanted her kitchen, I would see the kitchen finished before the end of the day, if you like, before I could actually go and price it up. So I have this ability to visualize something, and I visualize this how I want it to look. But having got photographs, which you see on the front of the layout, I use those as a form of reference. So yes, it kind of both really, organic and planned.
Which was the most challenging bit?
Getting the track to run smoothly, I think. Now, because it's by nature, I try to represent the rough terrain that the track will be laid on.
Yeah.
So the track, you can watch the locos hopping and bobbling over the track without falling off. Sometimes it does fall off, but mainly it doesn't. The idea was to get a rough track and get that to work with the locos and the rolling stock.
Yeah, so that's sort of
that was the biggest challenge.
Being rough and actually being able to run anything on it. Yeah.
Indeed, yeah.
What's your favourite part now it's finished? I presume it's finished. If
back
they're ever
scenes.
finished, the back scenes.
I love painting the back scenes.
Yeah.
Is that whether that comes out on the video or not? But where you've got the curved boards at the ends, you see I've painted the back scene round, and where the boards go off, the line goes off to the back.
Yeah, you can see it.
You see I painted it in a little box
as well, which is really good. Yeah.
So the painting of the back scene, being as I love to paint, the challenge was to get it into 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
I think I was happy with the way it came out.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It looks really good. What are you planning next, or have you got a project already in build, or is it all a big secret?
Well, kind of is and kind of isn't. I'm kind of keeping it from the management, shall we say, because it's going to be another World War One, and it's going to be something very different yet again. But it does include, this is the basis, this McEwen Pratt loco, which is Sherbet from the Boot Lane Works range, Andrew Gadd's range. It will include Sherbet or a McEwen Pratt and a 3D printed simplex, which I'll show you.
So is it going to include that one?
Yes.
Or are you going to have the two running side by side?
No. The idea is to make it into start off with as a diorama. Then it will be a diorama with moving parts, and it will be when the Royal Engineers or the engineers were laying lines, they would go into the woods, stack the tracks much as you see in the background there, and on the wagons, but they'd also go and get timber, and they go into the woods, and they will be in the woods where they couldn't be found, if you like. And of course, using diesels, there was no smoke to give their presence away. So the idea is to build a wood, trees all round with a bit of track going through it. So that's the next
We'll
idea.
look forward to that maybe for next year's exhibition, do you think? Or will it be a couple of years to build yet?
No comment.
No comment, fair enough.
So now it's time to look at the amazing layout, which if you get the chance to see in person is well worth it, because the flashes and gunfire really add to the atmosphere. And if you hang around to the end of this video, there's a little bit more from Tony talking about trees.
Comes round again.
The layout's fantastic, Tony, and I look forward to the next one. Thank you for sharing.
Tony the Tree Man. I used to make trees for a living, believe it or not.
You made trees.
I make
I
in
thought the university did that.
no, for modelers. I used to go all over the country landscaping gentlemen's layouts that were fixed, and they couldn't do the landscaping. They could do the track, or somebody would have laid the track and made it work for them, but they had no idea what scenery they'd like, and they would employ me to do that. So I would go and do that. But also, I would make trees, and I'd do commissions for trees. One such tree I can remember doing for a gentleman in Boston in the USA. His wife was doing a little diorama of A Midsummer Night's Dream.
That's interesting one to do.
And what do they sit under the? What tree do they sit under when they were two? Do you not know?
I have no idea.
Willow tree. So I was asked to make a willow tree, and the willow tree was this high.
Wow.
One of the many trees I did quite big scale. And I made it in 4-leaf and sent it to America. And I had an email back from him saying his wife was over the moon with it. So that was a nice moment.
And here is a photo of that very tree which Tony has sent me since. It's very realistic, hard to believe it's not a real tree.
In my landscape building, I've written books. Within those books are tree making chapters. I've done DVDs for warders. I've done internet television on landscape model making.
Here's some more trees and landscape by Tony. What a great and informative guy. I'm going to go and check out his videos and books now.
Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you again, Tony, and thank you all for watching. Please do like and subscribe. See you next time.